first I'm going to teach you how to command SQL to create a table. So first we have table student. So the first line we type create table students, open bracket, then we list all the identity involved in the table. So the first identity is student ID, and the data type is integer, so we type int. And then we have student name with we use varchar with length of 100. And then we have student program, we use varchar with length 10. And then student phone, we use varchar with length of 10. We use varchar instead of integer because the phone number is start with number 0. If you use integer, it cannot be the first number with 0. And then we type the primary key. The primary key is student ID, and then we close bracket. It same goes the other table. I'm going to show you the other example like this.
Now we move on to the next topic that I'm going to explain, which is data manipulation language, DML. First of all, I'm going to explain to you guys about how to do commands and what are the outputs for the questions that I have made. The questions are regarding select statements from all tables which displayed a minimum of 10 records for appropriate tables. For example, the first question is display all records for table student. First, we need to type select asterisk, which means all. Select all, and the next one is we type from student, so we can know which table we are referring to. The comments for the three next questions are the same as this one.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Shahirah Najwa binti Mama Hafiz, and now I will explain the example of simple SQL queries and retrieving data from multiple tables, joining database tables. First, display all program of type seminar. Firstly, select all from program where program type equal to seminar. Firstly, select all from, so here is the output where there is two type of program seminar, which is Seminar Wanita Islam and Bengkel Asas Tajwid. Next, get the list of students registered after 1st January 2024, ordered by registration date in descending order. Firstly, we have to select all from registration where registered date greater than 1st January 2024. Order by registered date descending. This SQL command will display all records from the registration table for students who registered after 1st January 2024. The operator greater means greater than, and order by registered date descending sort the result by registration date in descending order, meaning that from the most recent to the earliest. So here is the output of the student who registered after 1st January, ordered by registration date in descending order. Next is which student are registered in Kuliah Subuh. So firstly, we have to select R.student ID, S.student name, P.program name, and from registration R, student S, program P, where R.student ID equal to S.student ID, and R.program ID equal to P.program ID, and P program name equal to Kuliah Subuh. So it retrieved the student ID, student name, and program name. The from clause combine three tables, which is registration, student, and program, where clause link them using student ID, program ID, and filter only those registered in the program name called Kuliah Subuh. Here is the output of student registered in Kuliah Subuh. Only Masimo registered in Kuliah Subuh. Next, which staff is assigned to which program. Firstly, we have to select P.program ID, P.program name, S.staff name. From program P, staff S, where P staff ID is equal to S.staff ID. So this comment show which staff is assigned to which program. It select from program ID, program name, and staff name. It uses the program and staff table and connect them with using staff ID in the where clause. So here is the output of which staff is assigned to which program.
Alright, so in this query, I use several important SQL tools. I use a column function, a table alias, grouping, and sorting. The first line is select R.program ID, count all as total students. Here I use the count all function to count the numbers of students registered in each program. I also used AS to rename the result column as total students for easier reading. Then from registration R, I get the data from the registration table and I give it a table alias R to keep the code neat and short. Next, group by R.program ID. This is where I use the group by clause to group all the records by each program ID so that the counting applies to each group. Lastly, order by count all DSC. This is the order by clause to sort the programs from the one with the most student to the least and to make the sorting in descending order. So overall, this query helps me to get a summary of how many students are in each program. This query uses count all, group by, a table alias, and the having clause to find students who have made complaints. I start with select C.student ID, count all as total complaints. This counts how many complaints each student has made. I use AS to label the count as total complaints. Then from complaint C, I get the data from the complaint table and I use C as the short alias for it. Next, group by C.student ID. This groups the data by students, so count all works for each student. And finally, having count all greater and equal to 1. I use having instead of where because I'm filtering after grouping. This shows only students who have made at least one complaint. So this query shows us which students have made complaints and how many. This query uses
This SQL query used the having clause to and a subquery to find out which staff have handled more counseling sessions than the average. First, I select staff ID and use count all to count how many sessions each staff has handled. I also label the count as total sessions. Then I use group by staff ID to group the records for each staff so the counting is done per person. After that, I use having instead of where because I'm filtering after grouping, and I want to compare each staff's total with the average number of sessions. The subquery inside having calculates that average. It counts the session per staff, then gets the average from those counts. So overall, this query helps identify which staff are doing above average counseling, which can be useful for monitor workload of performance. This query used the in operator together with the subquery in the where clause. I start with select all from speakers. This means I want to show all speaker details from the speaker table. Then I write where speaker ID in. This tells SQL to only include speakers who ID appears in the result for the subquery. The subquery is select speaker ID from invitation. This grabs all speakers ID that have been invited. So overall, this query returns only the speakers who have received an invitation by checking if their ID is in the invitation table using the in keyword.